I'm here at Superbooth with Tom from Music Thing Modular. We're going to have a rundown of some new products and then check out some patches. Tom, do you want to run us through what you've got?
Okay, so the first thing I've got is actually not a modular product. It's this control board, which is for the Axel Lotti, which is a open source DSP module that's come from Belgium. So the board under here is the thing that's normally sold. And it's a really interesting, it's like a bit like an old Nord modular, so it's got a really powerful chip in there, but what it doesn't have is any kind of control. So when I saw this, I thought we could quite easily make a simple control of this. So what you're hearing now, the kind of drum pattern, is all coming from here, and you can see, giving it a kind of tactile surface. You've got a joystick, you've got a bunch of buttons, and this is a really complicated patch that I don't really know what it does. But you can see it's there, and so it's just enabling this thing to be something you can throw in your rucksack. You can use very much like the old Nord micro modular, and it's got a bunch of MIDI ins and outs, 2 stereo outs. It's got a memory card in there, so you can do kind of radio music type things. And it actually works as a MIDI, USB MIDI host, so you can plug in cheapo MIDI keyboards straight in there. So it's just a nice little kit. These boards, which I think Fonk are selling now. So that's that. Over onto the modular. Let me just turn that off. So the biggest thing I think for this event is the new Turing Machine here. This is the first kind of big update to the Turing Machine, which has obviously been a pretty popular DIY build since 2012 when I released it. The new central module here, the big difference is it's got a length control. So you can set 2 to 16 steps. The best way to understand this is to watch your video that you made that goes through it all in real detail. You can see you've got the little pulses expander here and the volts, which is essentially a miniature version of voltages. So voltages was the big volts expander here. Volts is a smaller version of that, just 5 pots, and you can actually daisy chain these. So you could have 3 or 4 of these in a row where you get a really dense bunch of different control voltages out. I won't say too much about that because you've explained it so well. The other 2 new modules, and these are really kind of prototypes, this one, which is going to be called Electrophone. This, as you can see, is a guitar pickup in a module with a little preamp. And this one, which is called Magnetophone, which is a old stock mono tape heads in a module, where you can also plug in a separate tape head on a external cable. These are kind of evolved from the microphony, which is this one here, which has been really, really popular. And what's been nice about that is I designed it just because I had the idea of sticking a contact microphone onto a panel. And when you plug it in, your whole modular becomes kind of sound responsive. Every time you turn a switch, you can hear it. But people have taken this and used it in ways that I could never imagine. So the sound design of a Halo has 2 of them in his modular, and he rolls around sort of bowls of ball bearings on them to get these massive sort of stereo soundscapes from it. I saw a video the other day of a guy in a gig in San Francisco playing the panel with a pencil with a rubber on the end and a brush. And it's amazing to see people taking this really simple idea and turning it into something that I couldn't have imagined. So I'm hoping the same thing will happen with these 2 modules. I'll just quickly show you Magnetophone, because that is the most ridiculous module I've ever designed, I think. So if I just patch this up, let's see if this works. So there we go. So as I said, you've got a playback head, like something you'd find in an old Walkman or old monotape recorder, and this lives on the end of a wire, and here we've got a bunch of tape stuck to a board, and you can literally play back the tape by rubbing the head on it. So you can get you can kind of scratch it sometimes, It's very, very unpredictable and very weird to use. But again, hopefully people will find interesting things to do with it. And I think that's my lot.
Thanks a lot, Tom. I think it's worth noting that the microphone, even for me that is terrible at DIY, probably the easiest kit to build, super cheap. People should go grab them.
That's definitely the way to start. Although all of these are actually very simple. The new Turing is actually a lot easier to build than the older ones.
So,
Bigger board and it's simpler to build.
so when are we expecting to see all the new lineup coming out?
Well, I don't know. I only design them. I don't sell them. But I think Steve at Thonk has probably got the Turing machines coming out pretty soon in the next sort of month or so. These two, the electrophone and the microphone, are still really sort of prototypes. So it'll probably be a few months before they appear.
Thank you very much.